Good afternoon, folks. Thank you all for coming. I know it's a hard day to be inside. If I had my druthers, I would be outside and certainly not in a suit. However, that doesn't belie the important work that we are excited to share with you today. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mark Donald. I'm the president and CEO of RYASAP. What it means for this project is I'm the chief water carrier, because you're going to hear from the talent afterwards. Before we get started, I can't be more thrilled to see so many familiar faces in the crowd. Special thanks for Representative Steve Staffstrom, who we are in his district, who made the time out for a busy legislative schedule. State Senator Tony Huang is here from district next door in Fairfield. Appreciate him. Also, representative from Senator Murphy's office, Jonathan Smalls, is here. I don't see so thrilled, and I think I see, the glare is killing me, Representative Leeper. Yes, who is my representative from next door in Fairfield. And then the handsome fellow in the back, Lieutenant Colazzo, is not running security despite what he thinks. He is a guest and a guest of honor in this important work. So, we appreciate everybody making time out today. And, unfortunately I have to start off on a solemn note because it really emphasizes the importance of the work we do. And there's an absence of my street safe team from RYASAP today. Unfortunately, one of the young men that we work with was shot and killed on Thursday. So they are all grieving, they are healing, they're supporting the mother and the grandmother in spite of their own grief and healing, but it's just a reminder of the difficult work that staff and we are faced with on a daily basis. And not only is it impacting that family, it impacts others around, and the perpetrator, who will be caught, also impacts likely him and his family as well. So just a reminder of how important this work is, and in the absence of Ebony Epps, our program director, Quill Crooks, our manager, and especially Dennis Broadnax, who was daily mentoring this young man who should have graduated from high school in June, is just a reminder of how important this work is. Unfortunately, with life, sometimes we have to take pain and get to progress. Sometimes we have to take tragedy and get to triumph. And today I'm thrilled to share this opportunity with you, with the team that's going to make it happen. A few years ago, RYASAP was asked to convene a youth gun violence task force. The task force had grassroots organizations like PT Partners, who you'll hear from. It had representatives from Fairfield Youth, who you will also hear from. It had representatives from the police department, government officials, other grassroots organizations, nonprofits, and even both hospitals on how to combat the problem of youth gun violence in Bridgeport. I'm pleased to say that Bridgeport was one of the few cities in the country where youth gun violence went down. However, going down doesn't mean eliminated. And emerging from that task force, led by our friends at PT Partners, was the idea that what if we could go past listening sessions? What if we could go past hearing what people had to say? And what if we really took time to conduct focus groups, and with our partners from Fairfield U, analyze the focus groups and then implement the suggestions? Because our philosophy is those who are closest to the issue know problems to solve it. So we began doing our best to conduct some of these focus groups. However, as many nonprofit and university people do, we were over capacity. We ran into problems with just having enough hours in the day. And we started analyzing some of the data and realizing that takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and most importantly, time that we don't have the resources for. Then the Tao Foundation came in, and they were willing to take a chance on our project that really honors the residents of public housing for the time and expertise that they're bringing to the table, for the suggestions that they have to further combat gun violence and get that number to zero. And most importantly, it goes beyond the listening. It gives us the resources to implement some of the suggestions. Now, we don't know what those are, but we look forward to sharing them with you, and most importantly, executing, and then seeing how much closer to zero we've got. So, as we go down this path, you're going to hear from some of our partners. And please keep in mind that we are not the only people fighting youth gun violence. And quite frankly, the data in Bridgeport show that the older guys are the ones involved. How do we get them to put it down? Well, we're hoping to hear the solutions. We're hoping to execute the solutions. And with that, I will kick it over to Melissa Kwan from the Center for Social Impact at Fairfield U to tell you a little bit more about the project. Thank you all.
Mark. On behalf of Fairfield University, I want to thank the Tao Foundation for their support and RYASAP and PT Partners for inviting us to be a collaborator on this important initiative. The mission of the Center for Social Impact is to connect the campus with the community to create positive impact through teaching and research. We've been laying the groundwork for this project, as Mark said, for nearly 3 years, and during this time we have learned about the problem of violence from residents, and we've also developed relationships that bring a deeper meaning and importance to the project for us. The research is not abstract. The lives of our friends and neighbors are at stake, and nor can it be conducted in a vacuum, and it requires an interdisciplinary approach that centers and values community knowledge, and that's also what makes this unique. We've assembled an interdisciplinary team of faculty and student researchers from public health, anthropology, and sociology to work with RYASAP, PT Partners, and resident leaders to design and implement research that helps us to understand the root causes of violence and to generate and test solutions. And the uniqueness of this project lies in its community-engaged and community-building approach. Residents are not simply the subject of research, they are centered as experts. The knowledge and expertise that is rooted in their lived experience is critical, and it's what makes this so powerful. And speaking as a higher education professional, projects and partners like this make our business of teaching and research stronger because of the diverse expertise involved. The expanded knowledge base that comes with working outside of the classroom, with working with people who are closest to the problem. It just strengthens student learning, and it strengthens research outcomes. And further, it creates opportunities for us to put our mission into action as a Jesuit Catholic university, to contribute to the creation of a more just world by sharing our resources with our neighbors and by educating students to be socially aware and morally responsible people. I'd like to recognize members of the research team from Fairfield University, my colleague Ronaldo Gonzalez, who's here, Scott Lacey, Mehmet Kansoy, and Rochelle Brun-Bevel from Anthropology and Sociology, Jessica Planas from Public Health, and our student team, Brendan Osler, Phil J. White, Rishi Black, Melody Olivin Sanchez, Matt Morrow, and Valerie Jeslak, who each bring their lived experience and expertise in social work, biology, sociology, international studies, environmental studies, and applied statistics. And some of our students have grown up in Bridgeport, and they bring that experience and that passion and commitment with them as well. So thank you again to the Tao Foundation, RYASAP, and PT Partners, and to all of you who are here with us today. We certainly hope that your enthusiasm for this work and your commitment to this work carries on as we move forward, because your partnership will be important to us as we take our next steps. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dizette Hamilton, Neighbor Relations Staff Member for PT Partners.
As you all know, my name is Dizette Hamilton. I'm resident leader, neighbor relations support with PT Partners. We are the voices of the community. PT Partners is a 51% resident-owned, resident-led, grassroots organization that enables our residents to exercise their power to change the conditions that undervalues our existence. We at PT Partners are grateful for the collective efforts with RYASAP and Fairfield University as we have been working together to address these serious issues such as gun violence. We especially want to thank the Tao Foundation for its massive grant of $1 million. This creates the opportunity for our partners to join in amplifying resident voices further. Although gun violence has gone down over the years, the impact is still the same. Grieving families, as Mark has mentioned, why Street Safe isn't here today, and shattered dreams. The young man was about to graduate high school. All are still our everyday realities. We need more accessible and productive outlets for our kids. We need people to meet us where we are. Our work started with a focus group containing diverse age ranges, from teens to seniors, on violence in the community. The residents' input was reviewed with Fairfield University and in part will be converted into a survey about safety and gun violence in the community. Through our resident leadership, we will continue to collect data and information to move forward with this work to create resolutions that address these issues. We're all here for the same reason. We all have the same mission: to find solutions for a healthier and safer Bridgeport. This project, along with our mutual aid, for example, where we work in partnership with the Easton NRZ Market Food Rescue to provide fresh fruits and vegetables and our after-school youth snack program, where we serve over 449 youth weekly. Ensuring greater food security for our neighbors allows us to keep each other safe in our various ways. We at PT Partners would like to thank the Tao Foundation for the proceeds that will help pave the way for this project. We thank our residents and partners for their collective work that has gotten us this far. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I think one of the great things, and I'm going through my metaphors of all-star team to a jam band, and I'm a failed athlete, and I wasn't good enough to be a failed musician, but I guarantee I would be if I tried. But you know, the team that we have assembled, each team plays such a key part in this process. But the real catalyst for it is the Tao Foundation. I'd like to introduce Diane Serapina from the Tao Foundation to say a few words.
Everyone. I'm so pleased to be here representing the Tao Foundation and my colleague here, Megan Lowney. We're so proud of you all for this project. I do want to point out, Mark, every time you use this slide, if you would put the Tao Foundation under the partners. We always feel that we support in the background, but you all are doing the work, and we're so pleased and happy that you're collaborating with such brilliant people at Fairfield University, PT Partners, and RYASAP. The Tao Foundation has had a relationship with RYASAP since 2000. They were our first partner in working on youth justice reform in Connecticut. When we discovered that children age 16 were treated as adults in this state, we decided this was an area we wanted to focus on. And so for the last 24 years, we've been investing in youth justice reform in Connecticut and New York. And as you all probably know, we've made some tremendous wins over the years, closing the juvenile prison, raising the age to 18 and hopefully older, raising the minimum age from 7 to 10 and hopefully older, representatives and senators here. So we're very proud of this project. It's come full circle. Last year, our donors gave us permission to look for a project that we could invest $1 million to do something really bold and innovative and collaborative that would change lives. And over the years, we've recognized that we need to build up community leadership and voice. This represented that. We also needed the evaluation piece from the beginning so that the story can be told, that in this state and everywhere in this country, we should be investing all our money in addressing what people need at the beginning, so we don't have to have incarceration and prisons and so forth. So we did it last year. We talked to thought partners around the state and said, what could you do with some money? We didn't see a whole lot of innovation through the ARPA money and other pots of money over the last few years. And we said, what would you dream to do if you had this money? And we had many proposals from around the state, and 2 came to the top, one in Hartford and one here in Bridgeport. And we're so excited about this project and really hope that there'll be a story to tell in the end, and that this would be a model for other communities so that we can really start from community-based investments with the people who know what the answers are. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Megan. And, you know, a lot of times people say partnership work is hard work. And with this crew, it really couldn't be farther from the truth. And it truly is a partnership. One of our key partners as well is the housing and the housing leadership. So I'd like to invite Jillian Baldwin from Park City Communities to come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon. For anyone in the room who may not be familiar with my face, my name is Jillian Baldwin, and I am the Chief Executive Officer for the Bridgeport Housing Authority, better known to the community as Park City Communities. I joined the Housing Authority back in 2020, and for those of you who live in our communities and organizations that service our residents, you all know the situation that the new team inherited. We have spent the last 3 years trying to right-size our organization, hear from our residents in the market, and understand the true needs of Bridgeport. That has been a challenge. But we are proud to say that historically, the Bridgeport Housing Authority had been one of the longest-standing troubled housing authorities in the entire nation. And in 2023, we were able to lift that designation, and now stands the newly designated Bridgeport Housing Authority. And that's just a drop in the bucket. Because while we know that it was critical for us to take the time to right-size the operations of the authority, there were community partners serving our residents that had to stand in the gap. And I always say I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't acknowledge the strong resident leadership of PT Partners. To all of you in the audience, hello, PT Partners. As a housing authority, we couldn't be more proud to have residents hold us accountable. We are a true accountability team. And so while we've taken these last 3 years to right-size, the complex problems that exist in our communities didn't stop. It didn't wait for us to get ourselves together. And all of our residents and our community partners continue to suffer the consequence of inadequate management at the Housing Authority. I wouldn't be a leader standing in front of a community if I didn't take accountability for that, but this is a new day. So I appreciate the opportunity to stand at the mic and say thank you to the Tao Foundation, to PT Partners first and foremost, as, you know, badass, can I say that? Resident leaders. We know that the tomorrow that's coming for Bridgeport Housing Authority looks wildly different from the Bridgeport of the past. We have to say thank you to RYASAP and the University of Fairfield for standing in the gap for the Housing Authority. We are now ready to roll out and be a true partner in any work that's happening in our communities. And we also would like to say that we know when our public housing communities are impacted by gun violence, that our residents and the community members suffers in ways that are unimaginable, ways that are not considered, talked about, explored. So we are super excited about this innovative program that you guys are bringing forth, and grateful to the Tao Foundation for their vision around what this type of resource could do in a community like Bridgeport. So thank you to you all, and we look forward to it.
So, we talked a lot about the partnership in here, but I did see some other partners that are here. We've got Jen from FCCF, Fairfield County's Community Foundation is here. They're a great partner in the work. I think, it's funny that Jillian asked for permission to say words, and on a stage that has seen bands of all sorts, I suspect that some words have been used that are maybe less appropriate. So I think we can all appreciate that. But as I want to wrap up this phase of it, I want to extend some gratitude to Park City Music Hall as well for hosting us today. When we talk about partnership, about 2 weeks ago, we did a career exposure for 10 young people in RYASAP programs. And when the kids left here, they were buzzing. They realized that there was more than just the onstage talent that goes into putting on a show, right? And I say that wholeheartedly because my talent was behind the bar back there, nothing else. But when it comes to symphonies and virtuosos and jam bands, we've got the partners, right, who are leading the charge. We've got Fairfield U, who is going to evaluate and look at the work. We have Street Safe, who are leading the charge, incredible messengers. And then we have the team that spent a lot of work putting this work together. And then we have our legislators who realize how important this work is. It goes to show that each of us have a role in combating this issue, as well as many other issues that impact our community. With the help of the Tao Foundation, we're really excited to bring the Amplifying Resident Voices project to all of you, and look forward to having you be a part of it moving forward. Thank you all. Have a great day. Get some grub. Hang out. Oh, we do have a Q&A. I don't have the answer, so you have to ask somebody else. If you have a question, pass on. Of course, John Marshall Lee. I don't know who let him in.
Thank you very much. I was waiting for the second and third slide. That might explain what outcomes are looked to change. Thank you. It's that simple a question.
Certainly. So we are talking to the focus groups to get what is impacting them the most as it relates to gun violence. So we can't answer that right now, which I think is what, for me, is so gratifying about a funder taking a chance on this project. Because the resident groups may identify a lack of public art, right? Which has, by the way, research has shown it decreases gun violence, right? And if that's the case, then we have funding that can create an award for public art that may be aimed at kids, right? I don't know that because I'm not a resident, and y'all are tired of hearing my voice already. We got to hear from the voices of the people.
But you've organized this, and I guess what I'm asking is the slide shows amplifying resident voices. Is that what you will measure? The sound of the voices, or is it about guns? Is it about housing? What's it about?
It's about gun violence, reducing and eliminating gun violence further, and the voices of the people on how we can do that. So Fairfield U, in partnership with all of us, we're going to look at those focus groups, hear what the themes are, analyze that, then put an implementation plan and evaluate the outcome of those efforts.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cecil Young. I was born and raised in P.T. Barnum. Okay, I used to be the superintendent of P.T. Barnum as well. And I was overwhelmed when I heard on WICC yesterday the lady talking about y'all being here. I mean, it blew my mind. I never knew you existed. Because, I mean, I ain't been in P.T. in quite a while since I was raised there. Okay, I've been around the whole city doing my thing. But I want to let you know tonight that I'm really honored and very pleased to see so many people here tonight this evening to show your concern and your compassion for our people because they need it. And as I say, and I've been saying for years as a community activist, that problem can be resolved. It can be taken care of. And we can take care of it within days. I can show you the kind of results that we can get from our residents and from our police if we work together and truly do what we're supposed to do. I know how to do it. Okay, I've been doing it for the Housing Authority for about 4.5 years. I'll give you some pictures of me supervising the Housing Authority police details. Okay, I was assigned by Mayor Tom Busey at the time, back in when he was mayor, as a community liaison to meet with the police details on Stratford Avenue to take the guns off the street. So I've been dealing with gun violence. I was also superintendent of the police details in Green Homes, P.T. Barnum, as well as Aquatic Apartment. I did that for 4.5 years. Now, there's many of the things I did when I first got hired as a community activist, because believe me, I'm a high school dropout. I'm from the hood, okay? I don't have no degree. I don't have no high school degree. I have no degree, okay? I went from the third grade, first grade, third grade, fifth grade, seventh grade, ninth grade. I said, Ma, let me get out of school. It ain't working. So she let me get out of school. But I proved to her that I would be worthwhile, giving me that opportunity to do what I know how to do best. And I've done it. And that's why I'm saying to you tonight, I'm very overwhelmed. And I'm saying, I'm not just talking to talk to be talking. I'm going to give you all a copy of what I'm talking about. Me supervising these police details. I had 4 sergeants, 4 patrolmen, and I supervised 7 days a week at Green Homes, Aquatic Apartments, okay, and P.T. Barnum. And I also have, and when you go home tonight, look up YouTube. Cecil Young and community policing at Green Homes Department, okay? Everybody don't agree with me, but I get the job done because I know how to get it done. I know how to work with these police to get them to do what need to be done because they need a lot of sensitivity training about how to deal with our folks. Because what y'all are doing is overwhelmed. I mean, I'm saying that these folks that are not here, I'm sure most of y'all don't live in PT, but I'm sure overwhelmed over the fact that they know that that amount of involvement, that much commitment is here for our people. I'm overwhelmed. And I'm going to prove to y'all, give it an opportunity. Give me a month, give me 2 months. I'll show you the residents talking to police. I'll show you kids playing out and enjoying their neighborhood. I'll show you how we can get the things done that we haven't gotten done. God has blessed me with the ability to do it. I know how to do it. Go to the YouTube, look at Cecil Young Community Activist. I've been doing this for 45 years. I started off with the Housing Authority Police when I was 10 years old, patrolling P.T. Barnum at 10 years old, okay? I was put in a special class, okay? I never really spent no real time in the classroom. I spent 6 months at the 6th grade. It was 6th and the 7th grade, and they put me in a special class. I was in a
Thank you
special
for your
class.
passion, Cecil.
But I want to
We
thank
appreciate
you very
it.
much for hearing my thoughts, but I'm going to leave you with this because I am what you need. May not be what you want, but I am what you need. Check out my website.
Hello, hi. My name is Sharon Toppin, and I'm new to P.T. Barnum. So my question is, I'm a mother of 3, and I have one that has intellectual disability, and he's 19. What do you guys have planned on? You talk about gun violence and stuff, but how can we keep the guns and stuff out of the mentally disabled kids' hands from, other children and stuff, putting it in their hands if they can't understand what is it used for?
I think that's a valid question, and one that we're really focused on getting the guns out of all kids' hands, right? We're focused
Yeah, we need
on
to get the guns out of all kids' hands.
And there's other, there's organizations specifically that can work to support you and your son and all your kids actually. And we have some at RYASAP that can support that. And the purpose of this project is to hear from people like you who live in P.T. Barnum, Trumbull Gardens, and Green
Well, we
Homes.
just moved there to P.T. Barnum, so we don't know too much. But when
There's
I
a
moved
whole
to
bunch
the
of people to
States,
your
I
left and up here that you gotta talk to.
since I moved to the when I moved here to Connecticut, I've been hearing about P.T. Barnum. I've been hearing about, you know, how bad it is and every sort of thing. And when I lost my place and became homeless with my kids and everything, I was like, I hope they don't put me in P.T. Barnum. I hope they don't put me in P.T. Barnum. But then, come to find out they did. But I'm not regretting it. I'm gonna give it all, my one and all. You understand? But my whole thing about it is, I just don't like how most people look down on kids that have disabilities and stuff. You can't judge a book by its cover. You have to read the book to understand it. So if it is that everybody can come together and help all the kids that have special needs, that will be fine with me. So
Thank you so
that was
much for your
just my-
passion. Congratulations on getting the home, and we hope it works out. And one of the things, and I may get in trouble for sharing some of the preliminary focus group, is the perception of gun violence, right? And the perception of how much it's happening versus the reality with what the data show. So we're going to be looking at that, and we're going to share it. We want to be transparent. We want people to hear more than just listening to the voices of these folks. Vanessa, you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, you and I know each other, but that PT Partners is not just, so there's many facets to what we do. So part of what we do, and Dizette mentioned it in her speech, is mutual aid and recreation of the village. Because we know that living under oppressive systems really works to disconnect people and individualize people, which means that we can't look to each other for support. So what we are building and have been for a while at PT is what you see manifested. And can everybody raise their hand if they're a part of PT Partners, resident leadership, right? This is what we have manifested as a result of recreating the village. And then you have us. I know you've already connected with Dizette, you connected with Dion, and you have, where's Julie Marr? Is she still here? Julie Marr is co-leadership of our youth corps for our teen program. We talked to you about, you know, your children in that program. So there's more than just addressing gun violence, because that in and of itself, just trying to get the guns out of youth hands is not enough. It is building a community in the ways that we have always had community to protect us and to keep us thriving. So
Right.
I want to say that.
I'd like to echo, and raise your hand and Scott will bring it over to you. I'd like to echo a little bit of what Vanessa said. And you know, a lot of folks are familiar with the recent, they're calling it the Dalio report, the unspoken crisis, when it talks about 119,000 young people who are disengaged and disconnected in Connecticut. Well, kids don't wake up at 15 and decide to become disengaged or disconnected, right? These are issues that lead up to it. And we're not going to stop working on these issues by any means. However, when this initiative evolved, it evolved because there's a missing component in the way we attack gun violence from a public health lens. And that was the structured voice of the people impacted the most by it. Any other questions? Okay, folks, thank you so much for spending this day inside for a few minutes with us. You can feel free to use a signed note as an excuse to get out of work the rest of the day. I have to work because I have board members here, and if I play hooky, I get in trouble. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Please give some food. Appreciate it.